exporters to OSCE, we see a very much different picture. And we see non-OSCE countries exporting to the OSCE. Number one, China, followed by India, followed by Brazil. After that, we have also Russia and the US. So these are non-Muslim countries, mainly dominating the halal trade. So what is the problem if we talk about the halal industry? So we see that OIC countries currently have a limited role in the halal value chain, and there's a systemic shortage of raw materials and end products in food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals, both raw materials and end products. Although we are celebrating, often in a lot of halal forums, the size of the halal market, which is growing based on the Muslim population and growth of the Muslim population, the demand is not the problem. It's a supply problem. There's a high dependence on non-OSCE countries for the halal supply. I'm not sure if that is a problem, but it's good to have the right balance, because you can argue if you don't own it, to what extent do you control? So there's a need and an increasing awareness for the need to boost halal production in OIC countries. I've been working on a new concept to create halal production assets in OIC countries called Halal Park 2.0. We have seen halal industrial parks in Muslim countries as well as non-Muslim countries, which were traditional industrial zones for halal industries. There could be some incentives. So in Malaysia, we had 10 years free tax, for example, incentives if you move to a halal industrial zone. In Malaysia, you have 22 halal parks. In some halal parks, we even have also involvement of the Malaysian Halal Authority, JAKIM, for example, in Enstek Halal Park nearby the airport. What we need to do, however, is to go to the next level of halal industrial zones in order to create real impact and create strong production assets in OSCE countries. We need to look at clustering. We need to focus. So a halal food park or a halal cosmetics park or a halal pharmaceutical park or modest fashion park or healthcare park. So we need to focus. We need to create also the key supply chain partners and stakeholders together. These are suppliers, these are customers, trade is important, Islamic development body, logistics is important, including also Islamic finance and takaful. We need to have a focus on the supply chain. The supply chain is as strong as its weakest link and not as strong as its strongest link. Early this year, I co-founded with some partners the Halal Supply Chain Alliance to build bridges and to create access to halal markets, to create access to raw materials. We need to work together. Collaboration is the key word. Sustainability is important. We need to simplify sustainability. Also in our previous sessions yesterday and today, the topic of sustainability came across many times. Sustainability is critical, but we need to simplify this. So halal industry zones in the Halal Park 2.0, we can simplify sustainability for industry by looking at energy, water, waste management, and more. We also need to re-look at how we organize our supply chains. For example, if you use coffee, as some of you have drank coffee just now, the used coffee grounds can be used as a growing medium for growing mushrooms. Waste of mushrooms can be used for animal feed. So by linking the Starbucks coffee chain to the mushroom production and animal feed, we can not only have a lower carbon footprint, but we also can get much higher profits as well. Finally, on Islamic finance and Waqaf. It's important how we designed those halal industrial parks according to Halal Park 2.0, where we want to bring Islamic finance on board. We want to bring Islamic finance, not only the financial solutions, but also knowledge from Islamic banks. Second, we have been benchmarking with several successful ecosystems, and we also saw a special role for venture capital. Islamic venture capital will be a key ingredient of those modern halal ecosystem, including also Islamic fintech. For Halal Park 2.0, we're also creating a Waqaf fund. So every halal park is managed also by a WACA fund. That WACA fund is managing the funds from those companies that are contributing in cash. Secondly, in countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, there's a lot of unutilized WACA land. That WACA land can also be temporarily used for the production of food, which can supply to halal parks, can supply as a food garden, can supply to also schools for free school meal programs, or also orphanages. So you can also combine the function to supply to the halal industry also by social functions like school meal programs. So that WACA fund, in Malaysia we will be working with Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia in this. In other countries we will work with the local Wakaf organization. The WACA fund can also be important to contribute also to the factory lots as well as training for the SMEs. So what are the opportunities? We see that the top 5 of exporters to OIC are all non-Muslim countries. There are 3 Muslim countries, Muslim majority countries, that have big potential to enter the top 5. Number 1 is Indonesia. Indonesia is not only the largest halal market, but Indonesia is also one of the big producers and exporters of a lot of raw materials. They have manpower, infrastructure. So Indonesia is definitely a contender on this. Secondly, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia recently established the Halal Products Development Company in Saudi Arabia to develop the halal ecosystem of the kingdom. Although today the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the largest importer of OIC, they also want to be a significant exporter of halal products, leveraging on halal Saudi Arabia. Thirdly, Turkey. We had some brother also from Turkey just speaking in the previous panel. Turkey used to be number 3 as exporter to OSCE, currently not anymore number 5. But I think Turkey is also a big chance to come back into one of the top exporters to OIC. I've been working on Indonesia and implementing Halal Park 2.0. 500 hectares halal development near Banten, near Jakarta, on the same island as Java, on the island of Java, near 1 hour drive from Jakarta, where we're developing an ecosystem together, also with Islamic banks. We have also made agreements to work together on this. I know the time is short. Just to sum it up as a conclusion, I think the halal supply chain and value chain is an important emerging requirement for serving Muslim markets. I think there is an urgency to create back the balance in the halal industry, that OSCE countries developing advanced halal ecosystem to produce halal products. The Muslim world cannot be just a consumer. In order to control the halal integrity, the Muslim world needs to produce halal. We talk about food, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and more. We also need to bring the halal industry and Islamic finance physically together. We need to mobilize Islamic funds, Islamic capital, to build halal production clusters and assets. This was my presentation. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much. May peace be upon you.
Thank you very much, Professor Marco. Now we'd like to invite Encik Abdulaziz Abdul Jalal, the Director of CLIF 2025, to present a memento to Professor. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Professor Marco Tiemann.